Your hard work feeds us, and in return, we feed and protect you.
Worried about a job? Well, Bernie Sanders has a plan for you at a time when unemployment's falling and it doesn't really seem all that necessary. Bernie Sanders releases a plan that would guarantee every American a job. Bernie Sanders is starting early for the 2020 presidential election, announcing Monday that he plans to unveil a whole new set of promises he can't keep, including a massive government expansion plan that includes a guaranteed job for every single American. Sanders and his staff weren't able to say whether the plan was finished or still being crafted, potentially because the plan is so unrealistic. But according to Fox News, Sanders has an outline that calls for the government to fund hundreds of projects in categories such as infrastructure, education, and the environment. Americans who want to do the hard work of building roads and bridges, educating children, and cleaning up embankments on major highways will either receive a job with one of these projects, full healthcare benefits at a $15 per hour wage, or receive job training. Weirdly, the plan also includes dividing the country into 12 separate districts within the United States, each with a specialized area of industry that would develop service projects and major infrastructure plans, which they would then forward to the Department of Labor for approval. That might sound familiar to some people. Well, Sanders and staff, weirdly, did not seem to notice that their draft guarantee program was pulled straight from the dystopian Hunger Games novels.
13 districts rebelled against the country that fed them, loved them, protected them.
It's more possible that Sanders' team got the idea from early economic plans for the USSR, which divided Russia and surrounding nations into 11 separate economic districts. China has undertaken a similar effort. Now this is the part that really caught me. It's funny to joke about it being the Hunger Games, but we can look at the effect. This is Russian, USSR, Soviet Union economics in America. We know what happened. There was the whole famine in Ukraine. There was 50 years of despotism and exploitation of the people. The environment's in shambles over there. And Bernie Sanders wants to bring that to America. There are literally communists in the American government, and they aren't hiding it. People are worried about the Russians infiltrating America and manipulating the government and policy. Their ideologue is a sitting senator from Vermont. The draft plan did not include information on how quickly Sanders' hypothetical administration would begin developing a program where the children from each of the 12 districts murder each other for sport in a massive yearly contest. It also does not apparently include information on how Sanders and his team plan to combat the distortionary effect a guaranteed jobs program would have on the American economy. But Bernie Sanders has never been one for details. And the devil is in the details, because when you start doing this and offering as much as $15 an hour, you're drawing employment out of the private sector and you're putting it towards things that are not necessarily valuable. The government has no profit loss motivation. There's no reason for it to spend wisely and no reason to hire competent employees. Any money it gets comes from the taxpayer, and they can just tax more to get it. And make-work jobs don't create any real wealth. You're talking about digging a ditch next to a road that might not even need a ditch there. You're talking about building another bridge that goes across the same river twice. You're talking about roads that wind around curves for no reason other than to make them longer so people will have more concrete to lay. This is not a productive use of people's time, and it's not a way to fix any economy. Again, we can just look at Russia for examples. Not to be outdone, fellow Democrats eyeing a potential 2020 run, Senators Christian Gillibrand and Cory Booker, have also spoken out in favor of a guaranteed jobs program. Gillibrand, unaware of how corporate investment works, tweeted last week that she supported redirecting the money used to fund corporate tax cuts to fund such a guaranteed jobs program. That's insane. The implication being your tax money is just funds for them to disperse to who they want. In this case, they see the Republicans as funding the corporations by letting them keep their money. letting them keep their money, not taking the money from them. They're not giving them money. They're letting them keep their money. And she sees that as funds that would be equally useful funding a government program. It's economically illiterate, and it's incredibly entitled. Who would have thought a politician would feel entitled? Booker wants the Department of Labor to expand to provide individual jobs or job training in 15 separate areas. At least he's a little more reasonable. Neither Booker nor Gillibrand has suggested a Hunger Games yet. And it might come. I mean, it doesn't take too conspiratorial mind to figure out the Democrats would probably prefer if everyone was poor, dependent, and culled every so often to keep them docile, but they can't quite admit that yet. So this is one heck of a step forward. So make America Pan Am. We are the Republic's walls. They will have to come and take it.